Well, hello, me chooks. Matt here for another wonderful Blu-ray pickups video. You all love them. I know you do. I have some Warner Brothers archive stuff that I've recently gotten, and I felt like sharing it with you. So, yes, here we go. There's a few cartoons, a few horror, so we'll get into it now. So, firstly, I've been wanting this set for a long time. I actually own the DVDs, but knowing what I know now about the DVDs for Warner Brothers being badly edited down to not offend anybody, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I sort of stopped buying those and just hope one day they will come to Blu-ray, which they apparently are. I've just heard Magilla Gorilla is coming to Blu-ray. I almost bought it on DVD because I loved that series so much when I was a kid. And yeah, I've held off on it, so I'm really glad that's coming out to Blu-ray. That's on my buy list, definitely that. And Frankenstein Jr. as well, I think, has just been released. So yeah. Anyway, looking forward to that. But this one I've been waiting for ages. I own it on DVD, and it is, of course, Top Cat, the complete series, on Blu-ray. And what can I say about Warner Archive? They do the best job for the cartoons. They get it straight from the source. It's just... And not only that, but they include a lot of the bumpers that were originally shown in... I think this is 1961 or 1962 series. 1961, and that's me without my glasses. So 1961, I think it was the second time Hanna-Barbera had ever done an adult cartoon series. This failed, I guess you could say. I mean, it ended up as a kids' show, just like the Flintstones anyway. But yeah, the Flintstones was, of course, their first foray into the adult cartoon world, and you know, considering what they think is adult cartoons now, they can go hoist a thing. I love this. I absolutely love it, and I love the fact that they've got all the bumpers and all the original adverts and everything still included in it. It's got Kellogg's as well, brought to you by Kellogg's, you know, so it looks really good. The colours pop, especially on my new TV, so really, really good. But anyway, yeah, so Top Cat, really good series. This is the complete series, unedited, completely unedited. It's in America. It's American release, but you can play it in all regions. And that's what I love about Warner Archive. So next up, I got this recently. This was also very cheap on Amazon. I try to collect these when I can. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Scooby-Doo series. Well, even growing up, I wasn't. Like, I didn't get to see it as much as I did later on. But this is the new movies that they made. And I think this is when Warner Brothers was in charge of all this. So I think once Turner and everything got a hold of Hanna-Barbera, they started churning out these movies. I think they got sillier as they went along. They've done a couple of good ones. But yeah, this is Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, and Scooby-Doo and the Alien Invaders. So, I don't know. It's just nice to have, and plus, it's, you know, good quality, and, yeah. But I'm not the biggest Scooby-Doo fan, believe it or not. I do have them all, but, yeah. Next up is a couple of horrors, and I'll start off with one of my favourite horror icons. Can you see? I don't know. Can you see? There we go. Hey, Boris Karloff. Yes. And this one's called The Walking Dead. And it's only a 60-minute film. It doesn't go for very long at all. And it was done in the 30s as well. And it's about a guy who was framed for a murder, and he gets electrocuted. And just as he's electrocuted, they turn around and they go, he was innocent. Here's the evidence. And it's like, oh, damn. So this scientist turns around and goes, I've got this procedure that can bring him back to life. So they decided to bring him back to life. Unfortunately, he decides to go on a rampage and get revenge on everybody that pretty much set him up. So yeah, this is amazing. I haven't seen it yet, believe it or not, but I'm planning to. It's still in the shrink wrap, but I've only just got it this week. So yeah, really looking forward to this one. And then, of course, we have The Beast with Five Fingers. This one is another one with a... He wasn't really famous for being a horror. It's sort of like a Mandela effect. A lot of people seem to think he was hugely into horror, and he wasn't. This is Peter Lorre I'm talking about. A lot of people think that Peter Lorre was a huge horror person. He wasn't. He wasn't. He was in the Maltese Falcon and detective shows and you know, those sort of, you know, crime things. But he was rarely in... It was just because of his voice, you know. He talked like this, so therefore he was slippery and evil, you know. And I love that. I love that. So this is one of the few horrors that he did. And it's, of course, Beast with Five Fingers, and it's about a killer hand. Or is it? It's a psychological type thing as well, and can't wait to get into this. This looks great. And I love the tagline, "Your flesh will creep." I love that. That sounds so Peter Lorre. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that one. Now, finally, getting to the last one. So this is another cartoon. It's one that I grew up with when I was a child. I grew up with, of course, you've got to be a child to grow up, but, or do you? So, Super Friends. What can I say? Super Friends. And this is a complete collection. I was very, very jealous of my friend Gary Akers, who, big shout out to Gary. Hey, Gary. So he got this set, and I was like, oh man, it's so expensive. And it was. I mean, this thing is massive. It contains the entire... It says complete collection. It is. It's a complete Super Friends collection. So it goes from Super Friends right down to Galactic Guardians. So when they started doing the Superpowers toys, they went heavily into the whole Galactic Guardians and started having more villains and releasing them as toys and all that. I only got a few of the toys. I think I had a Superman, Batman, and Robin, and a Joker for some reason, but never over a Wonder Woman or Aquaman. They were just lame. And you know, I wouldn't have a girl action figure. The only girl action figure I actually ever owned when I was a kid was the princess from Voltron, because I needed her to pilot. I needed her to pilot the I think it's the Blue Ranger. Not the Blue Ranger. The Blue Lion. The Blue Lion. Yeah. So anyway, but this contains all of them. So this is about 10 years worth, more than 10 years worth of, probably 12 years. I cannot believe that this is an Hanna-Barbera release, but it is. So I've watched the first episode of this. I started watching the second one, and then I realised that, you know, it's just a bit weird watching Robin and Batman play pool. Well, you know, playing snooker, as the UK people call it. So it's you know, having a bit of downtime playing pool. You know, it's like, really, is that all you could do, Batman? You couldn't go out and fight crime or anything? Nope, I got to play pool first. So yeah, this is a must-have for anyone that grew up on this series. I loved it as a kid, but even then I knew that the animation was pretty piss poor. I grew up from the second series, which is called the all-new Super Friends Hour. I didn't know that these were 45 minutes long. I don't know how it happened, but they weren't 45 minutes long when I was a kid. They were a lot shorter. So I don't know how they packaged it here, but I do know there was no way that they were an hour long. So whether or not they cut them for here, I don't know. But yeah, I was really surprised when I started watching that first episode and it was 45 minutes long. I was like, really? These things went for a lot longer than what I was used to, you know? Yeah, I mean, this is really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I was so glad that I didn't buy the DVD versions of this, because firstly there was a lot of DVDs that were released, and now they've released them all in a box. And this came down to a price that I was quite happy to pay for. It was reasonable, especially for such a lovely box set of all of them. And as usual from Warner Brothers, they are taken straight from the source and not mucked with too much. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Please comment down below if you have any of these discs, or if there's one particular Warner Brothers disc you'd like, you know, that you've been wanting them to release. Let me know in the comments down below. Who am I? I'm Matt Pott, and I'll see you next time.